I'm not sure what I owe my way of thinking to when it comes to what has become the most threatening and powerful weapon in people's minds these days. What I am talking about is, you guys ever scroll down the comments of a channel, and let's say that a channel takes an unconventional approach, which this year we saw a lot of. You follow this musician who has never been involved in politics, but all of a sudden they are. While you're reading through their comments, you see people going like, oh, you support this and that? Well, I guess I'm gonna have to unsubscribe from you. The unfollow button, the unsubscribe button, the dislike button has become the most threatening thing to people's mind, well being, self esteem. And I just wonder why? Why do we allow ourselves to have so much anxiety over that? Is it because you make money from that? Is it because you yearn to make money from that? Is it because you really care about how people feel or think about you to the point that you're willing to present yourself in a manner that doesn't represent who you truly are? You are willing to make so many changes just because you want to make that extra dollar or something? Maybe because like none of my channels are popular enough to where I can be like, yeah, I'm gonna quit my job and this is going to be what pays my bills. Maybe that's why I'm not afraid of it, of saying things and being who I am. But the thing of it is that nothing that I do for attention or money. This channel, for instance, it wasn't until YouTube said something about how I can add ads that I didn't even know that you could make money off making videos. And then I started researching. Since I conducted the search, then all kinds of content with this information became available to me. And I'm like, oh, okay, it is possible to make a decent living if you meet certain criteria doing this platform. That's cool. This changes people's lives. From the moment that I discovered that, it's not like everything I do it with a business mindset. I have to say this so that the algorithm perhaps catches it and makes it more popular, or I have to wear this or behave this type of way or cater to this audience so that I can shoot to stardom faster because competition is fierce. Then you come out later with content talking about how we need to get rid of the stigma around talking about your mental illness, mental problems, and everything. And I'm thinking, why did you let it get out of control from the start? Like, how are people affected by this age of social media where apparently, I don't know how true this is, but I can imagine it's true, that there's teenagers now who, if they don't get a certain reaction out of people from their posts, no one likes them or no one leaves a nice comment or something, they're having breakdowns and they feel worthless. And I'm thinking, what in the world? Or say you start producing content and after a year, 2 years, 3 years, you're not getting results, you're not getting anywhere, and you feel some type of way. What is that? What is your goal? Is it that you don't get attention in your personal life? Is it that you dream of being famous and you have seen other people's success stories and you want that for yourself, even though you don't know what it means? And then you don't realize that it may seem glamorous, but it's not really what you think it is. Just what is it? Is this really your dream, or is it a shared dream, a shared idea? Like someone put this in your head that this is what you need to value. And that's why you pursue this so violently. When people leave you comments, mean comments, sometimes I get that one stupid person who leaves me a stupid tweet. I can either reply to it and troll back, or completely ignore it. Sometimes I get dumb inquiries on my online little businesses, and sometimes if I have the time and I'm bored, I engage in a back and forth with this person just because the depth of human stupidity never ceases to amaze me. But for real, man, what is going on? Sometimes people get anxious about getting mean comments on their channels. I used to be a little sensitive about that at first. Particularly, I understood that someone out there may misinterpret my point, but I'm thinking there is no problem with the way that I express myself. There's no problem with my clarity. There's no problem with my content. There is a problem of thinking and mindset. It is either you get the point or you don't. If you don't get the point, I may make you aware that you missed the point. Like the point flew over your head. But if after that you don't get it, I understand and accept that you at that point are like some kind of patient who has a specific condition that is uncurable, and that's okay because we cannot save everybody. Unfortunately, not everybody's going to make it. I used to be a little bit worried about that. I always thought, no, I want this person to get it. It's the teacher side of me. I wouldn't want to give up on this person. I wouldn't want to give up on this student. I wouldn't give up on my colleague. I want them to get it. I want them to understand. But I'm thinking, it's okay if people believe what they believe. And at some point, when I would put out a video that may discuss something that's a little bit, let's say, sensitive, I used to worry about what kinds of comments I would get. Not necessarily because I was afraid of being challenged or offended, but it's just that that type of thing generated stress in me. It's almost like I couldn't handle the conflict. But then I realized that, again, I know my intent. I know what I'm saying. I know there's nothing wrong with the way I delivered it because there's other people who understood me 100%. If there's one person out there who gets it, to me, that is a victory. And even if something becomes unpopular, I get replies on some of my old content now, and I'm thinking, had I seen this years ago, it would have given me so much anxiety that I would have been afraid of opening up the comments and seeing what people are saying. But now I'm just eager to get someone to leave a stupid comment because now I tend to troll back. I also have learned that that's just people looking for attention. And I give it to them. I give it to them because it also helps my channel with its analytics. You know, it makes my channel look like it's active and whatnot. But stuff like that, I used to care about appearance a lot, which was the neatness in my comment section, the neatness in my channel. I didn't like clutter. I didn't like for conversations to end up pointless or conversations to steer off topic. But then I became the queen of going off topic by streaming, and then the first 5 minutes of the stream are going okay, I'm on topic, but then I start reading the comments that you guys are leaving, and then that triggers another lane of thought, and I come back to my point like an hour later, and I just don't care because I'm thinking, I'm just having fun. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm having a discussion. I'm talking, which in person, I don't talk much. I am super quiet. And then I said, this is the whole point of this channel, is to bring a side of me that I usually do not feed because it doesn't go well with my personality. I get to be here in my room by myself, quiet, with no intruders, and I can be myself. I can say whatever, and I can address people one person at a time. It's not like I'm having people talking over each other, waiting for my attention. I have absolute control of the situation. So now when I'm in person, like at my job or anything, I can focus even more than ever. If I'm addressing one person, I stay with that one person until the very end, and everything else around me is like a blur. You have to wait for your turn. And in the past, I used to want to split myself into three people and juggle three people at the same time. And just because I can doesn't mean that I should or have to. So I want to say that my focus when it comes to attention giving has improved, because I really used to go out of my way to be a people pleaser with multiple subjects at the same time. And I said, man, this is just difficult, stressful, and it's making me feel like I'm exerting myself and I'm not a sociable person anyway. So how about if I fix this? But anyway, guys, I thought I would ramble about this because I feel like, as grateful as I am that people are walking around pointing phones at each other as opposed to pointing a weapon or something at each other, at least we're a little safer in that regard. But also, when you're in the court of public opinion, I'm thinking, worry about those who actually get it and make you feel better. And those who don't get it, see what you can get out of them, see what you can learn out of them to better yourself if you need to. But outside of that, just learn to ignore shit. I think one of the most important things that my mom ever taught me was exactly ignore ignorance. That's what she would always say to me. All of these things that to people it seems like pressure, I think I can handle it very well because of that. I haven't sold my soul and I don't intend to. And my favorite thing is when people who don't know me try to challenge my values and say because I'm female that I am susceptible to having certain flaws. And I'm thinking, well, I don't have to prove to you that you're wrong because I don't owe you anything and you don't owe me anything. But I'm just sorry at the same time that your mind is so closed, you know? Let me know if you guys know what I'm talking about, if you have observed this yourself, or if you've been living in a rock and you don't notice anything, or you don't really read people's comments. You just like to be a silent audience, or maybe you participate but you don't really try to find out what other things people are saying. My opinion has been generated from my experiences across platforms. Like, I have seen people during the elections. I don't go on Facebook much, but I remember seeing a back and forth between three people who are from completely different political backgrounds, and I thought, wow, this is insane. Occasionally, I watch things on YouTube whenever I have time, and then I stalk the comments, and I sometimes leave my little message, and eventually, maybe months later, I get replies under them, and I meet some cool people. Sometimes I meet people who are challenging. Other people are just like the one-worders who say yes or no. And I'm thinking, well, that was a waste of an email notification and notification in the app and whatnot. But what I'm trying to say is I wish people would let go of these things and actually spend some time with real breathing, real-time people who are actually members of your community, as opposed to someone who's like never going to be there for you positively. You know, it is possible to meet nice people in the platform, like the regulars who hang out with me here on the channel. I am very grateful for you guys. And then the occasional troll has taught me something, but I don't entertain them for long. It's like, okay, you have made your contribution. You cannot stay in my life, and I just let you go. And if you become too much of a parasite in this area, that's when unfortunately I have to recur to blocking. I think I have blocked maybe 5 people or so in the course of this channel existing, and it's because it was really getting out of control. Like, they were attacking other people, and I said, before this gets out of control, let me go ahead and get rid of this, like put the fence up. If it were up to me, I'm like, no amount of you bombarding me with insults, ignorance, challenging me, insulting my nature, insulting me on my appearance or accent or opinion. I have been bleeding subscribers. I have lost like 50 people in 5 days, and I don't even have not even 10,000 people. I don't even come close to having that amount. I'm not going to say how many subs I have because that's irrelevant. But, you know, I'm like, oh, cool, the negatives. At some point, I saw many pluses for about 2 years. It was nice and great while it lasted, but I'm not doing the things that make me be competitive in this game. Goodbye. Let it go. You know, it's not like I'm like, oh, I gotta sweat this. I gotta start pouring content out and becoming desperate and shuffle and scramble because, you know, I'm losing people. Like I have said before, the whole point of this is This is originally a replacement for my journal. I am not steering away from my roots. I am grateful for the opportunities that I had to make a couple of dollars on the side because of this, and to enjoy a little bit of growth and, by my standards, social prosperity here. Has that made me change? Has that made me all of a sudden come back and try to hustle and put out crazy content and try to keep up with the times? No, I film when I want to, when I can, when it's possible, when the words come to me, when the food comes to me, when the idea comes to me. I don't feel like I have to be doing a daily grind. When I first started filming, I was really excited and into what I was doing. And to this day, I still am and keep doing things with the same excitement and passion as usual. But, just because I'm losing subs, I'm not feeling like, oh my God, I have to redefine myself and reevaluate what I'm doing, because I am staying true to my core, which is I enjoy the act of filming, the act of recording myself, listening to myself, something I used to cringe at. And that doesn't affect me. I remember a time when I only had like 3 people who I knew in person, and then that grew into 15, into 50. My first 100, I'll never forget them. And my first 500, I was like, how is this happening? Is this possible? And I also gotta remember that just because I'm bleeding subscribers doesn't mean that people are watching me. And to me, the most important people are my regulars. You guys know who you are. And some of these people who are arriving, I could decide to retain by engaging with them, but sometimes I just cannot make it possible. I just don't have the time. Some of you guys today, I replied back to your comments from a month ago. Some of you are going to appreciate it. Some of you are going to forget. Some of you may not even see it. But at least I did my part, which was I was able to get to you, and I got to you there. Leave it at that. There are so many comments that I have to go way back to, because some people leave me lengthy comments that I am appreciative of, because those are the ones that teach me the most. But unfortunately, I may not be able to read it all or reply, but I will get to it, even if it takes me another year to get to some of the stuff that was posted 2 years ago that I'm actually leaving replies on. I guess I'm not a very good manager when it comes to comments, but I'll never forget that to me, I always felt like I was going to be alone when managing this channel, and I'm okay with that, especially the regulars. I hope you guys are not offended if I don't reply to you. Like, I had this one guy a few months ago asking me if I actually don't reply to comments, and I'm like, yes, I do reply to comments. It just takes me long sometimes. That stuff doesn't give me anxiety. There are times in which I tell myself, oh man, I'm letting go of a really good habit, something that makes me happy, which is film. I used to do it daily, and now I seem to be able to manage just 2 videos per week. But I'm telling myself it doesn't matter, as long as I get to it and I have fun and I enjoy it when I do get around to it, and other people are happy with it as well, and I get my guaranteed 5 views on it from my regulars. My mission is complete. I feel I want to be there for you guys, because you guys actually do appreciate what it is that I do. And that's why I don't want to deprive you of the stuff that you find amazing, that to me I find as mundane and unexciting. But if it means a lot to you, I'm not going to deprive you from it. So from that perspective, sure, I can be a people pleaser. When it comes to a more grand scale, I am not obsessed by any of this. And one of the things that I saw was when Kim Kardashian had her birthday party, people were tweeting outraged stuff at her, which I understand. I actually see where these people are coming from. It was in bad taste what she did. There was one person who left a comment saying, I don't understand the people who are over here upset and trying to virtue signal, when if you had her money and power, you would be doing the same. And I'm thinking, no, I would not be doing the same, because I remember people who say stuff about people who are 18 years old, the 20-something year olds, And I'm thinking, no, because I'm 18 and I'm not doing that. No, I'm a 20 something and I'm not doing that. The generalization, I guess, when you generalize that at a certain age, you were messing around. So therefore, everybody else at that age is thinking the same way that you are. Just like I mentioned yesterday, on some stuff, I am a late bloomer. I'm around 30 and I still haven't gotten drunk. I still haven't smoked. I still haven't done all the things that young people are supposed to be into. I still haven't thrown a party at my house. I still haven't done so many things that are attributed to young people. And I am pretty convinced that I ain't going to. So if I say I ain't going to, you just have to trust me that I ain't going to. And another thing I have not done is gotten married and then gotten divorced and then left my husband with nothing. And I can guarantee you that if I do get married and divorced and am entitled to a lot of things, I am going to come to an agreement with my husband, ex-husband, I guess, and I'll be like, you take what it is that you want, and then I'll keep whatever it is that belongs to me, and whatever it is that you don't want that I can have, and the rest just goes in the garbage. You know, I know how to make my life so simple, but people are just worried about stuff, and that's what I'm saying. You have to convince me to be worried about stuff. So all this online celebration, like how many likes you get on a comment, all this stuff that boosts your self-esteem, I guess you have to convince me to allow for that to define me. Like the other day, I got 90 likes on a stupid tweet that I sent out. By my standards, that's very popular because that never usually happens for me. I looked at it as, you know what? There's 90 people out there who really need a hug this year. Whatever, I met those 90 people. Cool, but it's not like I'm thinking, oh my God, this is life-changing. I feel like my self-esteem is being boosted from this. Like, please, no. I don't need validation from this. My validation came to me when I was 18. So like, I'm all right. I'm pretty sure I know who I am and what works for me and what doesn't. YouTube itself, it is usually emailing me with tools and resources on what I can do or should do to help my views and boost my channel and whatnot. And I'm thinking, I know that I have a great mind, creativity, skills, and competitiveness. I don't want to sound like because competition is fierce, I'm discouraged, but I just know how to pick my battles. This is not a hill that I want to die on. You know, like if I were a big channel and all of a sudden something happens and I lose my position and my money, what's so wrong about going back and starting over and perhaps getting an average ass job that forces you to go out and work for someone? You know, just go out there and be like the rest of us. There's no problem with that. Another thing is that I also cannot imagine being that person who is completely overwhelmed by the daily grind. Let's say that someone discovers you because you make really good retrospective reviews on video games, for example. And all of a sudden, you start making vlogs about the stuff that you eat, or you start making videos about your pets. And then all of a sudden, people start unsubscribing, or people wonder what happened to your old content, and you feel this pressure mounting that you have to go back to what you were doing because you have to keep milking that cow for money. And then you suffer all this anxiety and you're upset and sad because since people are, I don't know, on Patreon or something paying you, you feel like your hands are tied and you have to please the consumer. I'm just not a people pleaser. And I guess because I'm not a people pleaser, that's possibly why in some people's eyes, I'm looking like I'm not going very far in life. But at least financially, I may not be very far in life, but at least I do not have mental issues. You know, like nothing keeps me up at night. The only thing that keeps me up at night is if I just cannot sleep because I don't know, I ate too much before bed, or I'm feeling sick and I cannot breathe properly. So like, you know, I'm gasping for air and I'm struggling. Or say, if there's someone who I particularly wish I didn't have to see the next day and I have to see them and I'm like preparing my mind to anticipate this unpleasantness and keeping myself up at night, I catch myself and I tell myself I need to let go and wait until I get there, because in the past, in the presence of this person, I have had good days. So this person doesn't have to be the determining factor of what kind of day I'm going to have. But for real, I cannot imagine a life in which as much subscribers as I'm bleeding out, I guess because I think most of my subscribers came under the impression that this is a channel where a woman happens to be talking trash about women. You guys were the ones to completely flip the coin on that one World Without Men video. I was being grateful about the things that the Electric Crew was doing that we really don't talk about. And then I also mentioned how, you know what, I happen to not have a lot of female friends. I guess I like to remain humble that there are things that some folks can do that I cannot do, and it's okay that I'm not designed to do those things. But we live in an age where people are trying to convince me that my kind is the best, but yet our accomplishments are so limited. And as opposed to going out there and proving our greatness, we are begging those who we claim to have us oppressed to be our saviors. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, if you truly have all this power and you believe in yourself, then you will go out there and make the changes regardless of the adversity. But if it weren't for you guys actually taking, first of all, finding my content, and second of all, taking the subject and flipping it in the manner that you did, there was no way it would have piqued my interest enough for me to actually research about why it is that my social circumstances are the way they are. And now I couldn't be happier. I used to feel bad and guilty, and I used to feel like it was all my fault that things were going the way they were for me. And I'm thinking, no, what happens is I happen to be among the last generation, or I guess the last breed of people who were not taken over by all this brainwashing, you know? So sometimes I feel like I'm full of myself, but I'm thinking, nah, it's not me. There's definitely nothing wrong with me. I'm not the one who's having trouble proving her points, you know? I'm indestructible, put it that way. Like, you have no idea how much BS I have gone through in person that is actually pretty offensive and traumatizing and all that. And I'm here and I'm still the same person, except what I used to do yesterday, because I have more experience, now I can do it better. And, you know, that's what I wish people would see, as opposed to focusing on the people who really affect you. I wish that you would turn that into a weapon. And maybe you yourself troll back, you know, don't take everything so seriously. That's gonna be it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you soon.